1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Welcome to NHL Quick Hits. I'm David Crosby here with Steele Roden. Saturday featured 15 games, and we'll get to the most impactful results in the standings shortly, but we've got to start with the two leading Hart Trophy candidates, Connor McDavid and Auston Matthews. In his 400th career game, McDavid opened the scoring against the Flames with a beauty of a goal and added a pair of assists in Edmonton's 4-1 win, giving him 87 points in just 49 games. He's on pace to score 99 points with 7 games remaining. In a full 82-game season, he's on pace for 145 points, which would be the highest total since Mario Lemieux and Jaromir Jagr both topped 149 in the 1995-96 season. Not bad company. So you're probably thinking McDavid is a shoo-in for the MVP, but Matthews is also having a historic season of his own. He scored twice in Toronto's 5-1 win over Vancouver to extend his league-leading total to 38 goals in just 47 games, and that includes 12 game winners. Matthews is scoring .81 goals per game, which is a 66 goal pace in a full 82-game season. That will be one higher than Ovechkin's 65 goal campaign in 2007-08. Between Matthews' goal scoring and McDavid's historic point production, which feat is more impressive to you, Steele?
Well, first, I'd like to say that both of these accomplishments, if they would be able to be done, would just be extraordinary, because I don't think, like you said, we haven't seen these in a long time, especially from players like these, Auston Matthews and Connor McDavid, just being one-of-a-kind talent for both their teams. I wish I could watch a full season right now and watch them try and potentially reach these goals and reach these targets for the end of the season before the playoffs. And 144 points in a season, 66 goals, just unbelievable to even think about. But the thing, I would have to give this to Connor McDavid. I think just 144 points in a season. He's 25 more points ahead of Auston Matthews right now, and that's with 9 less goals. Connor McDavid is still in second place for the most goals so far this season with 29. So to have 25 more points than Auston Matthews, who's at 63, I believe, and Connor McDavid being at 87, just to me, that's just unbelievable to be 25 more points ahead. And the reason I think about having 144 points in a season is more impressive is because, Connor McDavid, like I said, is in second place with goals with 29, but most of his assists are primary assists. He's doing the work himself. He's cutting down in the high slot, passing it over to the right or left side, finding Ryan Nugent-Hopkins or Tyson Barrie or Leon Draisaitl. So the fact that he's getting most of the goals himself with the talent that he has, and a lot of his assists are primary assists, 144 assists or 144 points in a season is just incredible, and I have to give it to Connor McDavid. But still, Auston Matthews, he would be in the top 25 for goals most in history for a season, as well as Connor McDavid, 144 points. He would also be in top 25 for most points in a season in NHL history. So both feats would be incredible, but Connor McDavid all the way.
Yeah, there's no wrong answer there. Two absolute studs. It honestly reminds me of Sidney Crosby and Alex Ovechkin coming up together. One guy just that complete goal-scoring machine, and the other guy kind of more of the complete point producer type. Now, of course, Sidney Crosby did have a lot more playoff success than Connor McDavid has had early in his career. So we'll see how this season ends, but we will be checking back to see if McDavid can break that 100-point barrier this season. That would be insane. Sticking in the Canadian division, Cole Caufield's first career goal came in overtime to give Montreal a 3-2 win over Ottawa. And over in the Central Division, Erik Haula also scored in OT to give the Predators a crucial 1-0 win over the Stars and a 3-point cushion over Dallas for that final playoff spot. Now, while there's still plenty of hockey to be played, Montreal and Nashville now have the inside track on the 4 spot in their divisions. Which team do you think is a more dangerous playoff dark horse?
Yeah, well, I'll start off with both of the overtime goals because both of them were really crucial for their teams. Cole Caufield, especially, there's no such thing as a bad goal, especially when it's your first goal. Go hard to the net, get on that puck. What a great pass from Jeff Petrie cutting down on the left side. he took advantage of that defenseman, Brady Tkachuk, who was out there for almost 2.5 minutes. So pat on the back for Jeff Petrie for realizing he could beat his player and get Cole Caufield the puck in front of the net. So that's what I always say. Go hard in the net, get the pucks on net, and good things happen. There's no such thing as a bad goal, especially for both these players. Both these players went hard for the net for either a rebound or a nice salsa pass from one of their teammates. They got the job done. They got a crucial win for their team to not secure, but keep padding that lead for fourth place. But again, I would have to choose Montreal as my dark horse. And I've said this from the beginning of the year. I've always thought that they've been the better team in their own division, as well as just if you're comparing Nashville and Montreal together. Just looking at the stats a little bit, Nashville 0-5-1 versus Carolina with 2 games left. 1-7-0 versus Tampa Bay with 0 games left, and 3-5-0 versus Florida. They have not had the best of luck against those top 3 teams in their division. Now you look over at Montreal, 2-3-1 versus Toronto with 3 games left in the season, 5-2 against the Edmonton Oilers. They've dominated the Edmonton Oilers so far this season. They still have 2 games remaining against the Oilers, and then 3-3 against the Winnipeg Jets with 0 games left. So Montreal has fared a lot better against those top 3 teams in their division than the Predators have. I just like the Montreal Canadiens better once they get Carey Price back. From injury, if they're able to get Brendan Gallagher back, hopefully halfway through the first round, depending on how serious that injury still is and how far he's come back in the process to heal a little bit. Montreal's a better team, and like we talked about last podcast, Cole Caufield could be a vital piece in that decision because of how versatile, how fast, how shifty, his shot release. He could be a great weapon in the playoffs. I think they've got a dark horse just because of how well they fared against those top 3 teams so far in the regular season.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think Caufield brings a whole other dimension to this team. And Nashville is definitely in the harder division. As good as the North Division is, I feel like they almost don't stand a chance if they're in that 4th place. But I don't want to write them off too early. We'll see how this season finishes off. But let's finish this episode with a pair of impressive streaks. Tristan Jarry had his 2nd shutout in 4 games, and Brian Rust scored his 100th career goal to give Pittsburgh a 3-0 win over Washington and the East Division lead. The Penguins have now clinched a playoff spot for the 15th consecutive season. They're kind of like the Detroit Red Wings. I never thought that playoff streak would even come close to being matched, but Pittsburgh has a shot to get that done in the next few years. Let's go over to the Central now. The Hurricanes strengthened their hold on the top seed with a 2-1 overtime win against Columbus, extending their point streak to 10 games. Now, the Penguins and the Hurricanes are both red hot right now. Do you think either or both will hold on to the top spot in their respective divisions?
Yeah, well, first of all, both those accomplishments, that 10-game point streak as well as this 15 streak of making it to the postseason for the Pittsburgh Penguins, just incredible for both teams. I would have to say that the Penguins have a better shot at holding that top position in their division, but the Carolina Hurricanes have a better shot for the Stanley Cup odds for sure. And just looking at the rest of the reason I say that is because looking at the remainder of the schedule, the Penguins, they have 4 games left against, probably the 2 worst teams in their division, which is the Philadelphia Flyers and Buffalo Sabres, and they're holding a 2-point lead with 1 less game against the Washington Capitals and the New York Islanders, who are fighting for that top spot as well. But then again, the Hurricanes, they're playing the Predators and the Blackhawks in the last 5 games, and with the Florida Panthers only remaining, I think the Florida Panthers have 3 games left, with them being 2 points back, and the Tampa Bay Lightning's 4 points back with, I believe, 1 game in hand. It's going to be hard to, it's still going to be a little hard to catch the Hurricanes, but because they're facing the Predators 3 times and the Blackhawks twice, they're a little bit tougher opponents than the Pittsburgh Penguins face right now.
Well, it is kind of the story of 2 seasons with these teams. The young Hurricanes have been solid all season long. I think way better defensively than anybody expected. And the veteran Penguins rebounded from a really tough start. It looked like Jarry was not a number 1 guy there for the first month or so of the season. But after they made some front office changes, they have completely turned their season around, and both are looking really good heading into the playoffs. That's all the time we have for today's episode. On behalf of Steel Roden, I'm David Crosby, and thanks for tuning in to NHL Quick Hits.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.